thought I'd
Yep.
point out just some of the efforts that have been made here in Texas to expand the life sciences. There have been a lot of grants. We have CFRIT here, which is on the oncology side, helps companies make
Super
early
cool program.
investments
Yeah.
into oncology drugs and
Yep.
devices. We also got the Texas some Texas stock exchanges. There's actually three of them that are being talked about, and I think the NYSE moved some of their
Yep.
operations here. And so with that as a background, I'd love to hear your thoughts, living in both areas. How the biotech, life
Not
sciences,
not a not a volatile topic at all.
the last 20 years, there have been so many companies that have moved from California to Texas. I mean, Toyota was one of them. I mean, in all different industries. We had
Yeah.
Schwab was another one. They moved from the Bay Area,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
To
just
South
scratching
Lake.
the
Yeah.
surface. You look up
Yeah.
to Dallas and Plano and some of those other areas, there's probably 10 or 15 S&P 500 companies, or top 500 US companies that have moved into this area. And
Yeah.
it's really changed
It's
the investment opportunities. And then with the kind of the layer on of the biotech, the biotech investments. I think there was a $4 billion investment in Plano and some kind of biotech hub up there. And then there's the
mhm,
Pegasus Park. I don't know if you've heard about that, but that's really
sure.
emerged in recent years. So it's really changed a lot. So from your perspective, having lived in both areas and being familiar with
Yeah.
both, what do you think of the changes, and what does it mean for the strength of biotech in these two states?
Yeah. So there's a so I have a saying. In order to build a successful healthcare company, you have to do business in five. You have to be successful doing business in 5 states:
Hmm.
Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Texas, and California.
Okay.
Right. And so as a business owner, and then California is the largest market, period, in the United States. And everybody talks about how much tax they pay. They actually pay the most in federal tax too, by a margin of 2 to 1.
Oh, right, because of
So
income. Yeah, higher income.
yeah, so California residents, like in 2024, paid $800 billion in taxes, and Texas residents paid about 420 billion in federal
Oh,
taxes.
really? So it's almost
Yeah,
twice as much. Wow. Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So California is this incredibly wealthy state. Um, it has complexities around doing business there, but I love doing business in California because that's where a lot of my customers are.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing business in Texas because that's where a lot of my customers are.
Mm-hmm.
So, when there is this kind of, there is a drumbeat, certainly California's bad, California's bad, California's bad. The reality is it's not crime ridden. It's a lot of those issues. I was a longtime San Francisco resident. It was kind of really bad in 2017, but if you look at the city now, it's much, much better.
Hmm.
When I lived in Dallas, you drive through certain parts of Dallas and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I
Or,
mean, there's
sorry, I'm not
elements of
supposed to
that
swear.
that
Right,
here that
right.
are
And
in
you go to
Los
Houston.
Angeles, and
Yeah, you go to Los Angeles, you go to Chicago, you go to
yeah.
New York, you go to certain parts of Florida. So it's kind of this, there's what people talk about from a hype perspective, then there's what is reality. And the reality is, if you're not, I don't care what business you're in, if you're not successful in California or Texas,
Hmm.
you probably don't
You're
have
probably
a
not
successful.
successful.
So yeah, you just aren't. You certainly don't have a national scale business, and you have to do business in Florida, you have to do business in New York, and you have to do business in Pennsylvania. And because over half the population of the United States, roughly half the population of the United States, lives in those 5 states.